fine afternoon. Well, they said we'd get some decent weather. Well, when I say decent, it hasn't rained until now. So it's just started to rain. And I thought I'd do a new live. Some people have been asking about an update. I think Joyce Oliver was um, inquiring about how the pond was going. Essentially, I haven't really done much work. You did make a comment though, Joyce, about the water that was in the pond. So, without further ado, let me show you. Let's just turn the camera around so you can see. So, let's just go over to the pond. As you can see, we've got no groundwater in there at present. The reason for that is quite simple. I think a lot of the water is being coming in this area here because, as you can see, the roof doesn't overhang all the way. So what we can see is the reason I don't have any groundwater in the actual pond, although there was water in there before. If any of you have seen the last live stream, you could see there was quite a bit of water in there. And since someone's just come on, I'll just reiterate what I've just been saying. The roof doesn't go all the way across where the extra extension part of the pond has been put. So I was getting a lot of water basically going in there and naturally flowing in there. Hi Tom, hope you're doing well. So the groundwater, Joyce, um, isn't a major issue at 2 feet deep here, even though I'm in a heavy clay area. The reason for that is I dug down about another half a feet, or well, maybe 2 feet, and I made like little large round circular pockets, and I dug out all the clay, and I put in lots of gravel as like a mini soakaway. So the idea is, if I do get any groundwater going underneath the pond, it'll soak into the mini soakaways I've got built underneath the sand. I've got some extra sandbags here. I'm gonna level it a bit more off with the sand, and that will be the set process. I've been working on the pipe work, which has been a pain in the ass. I won't lie to you. Because I originally got some clips that weren't big enough, so I had to get some new ones, screwed them in, and this is why I had to do this. Put an extra bit of plywood on top of the extra pieces I cut attached to the main beam that I've put across all the way across there and up, and attached these clips, column pipe clips. And as you may have been aware before in my previous video, I was a bit concerned about this joint here not being able to hold the weight of the pipe. So what I did was put these clips in, got 3 clips here. And the idea of this is we've got water coming up that enters the surge filter, comes out, and comes out of this clear pipe that I'm going to put, and it will go into a box filter that we'll have here. But also in this section here, I will be able to turn the valve open a little bit, and I've put a rubber boot on here. We could also put a T on, and I could potentially have 2 separate extra filters. As you can see over there in the distance, I've got like a circular bowl filter. The idea is we're going to have this slightly open, not by much, just slightly, and it'll let water, and I'm thinking about positioning it just there, and I'll get a piece of wood that goes across like that, and that's more or less what I'll be doing there. So that's the idea with the pipe work. But it's been a pain in the backside to source clear pipe. I ordered some from China, sorry. And he turned around to me and says, oh, the postage is quite high, even though I charged £50 for the actual product. And then he wanted an extra £15 for postage because he didn't realise it'd be a bit more expensive to post. I really can't see it being expensive to post out a metre, 2 pieces of 1 metre to me, because I get things delivered from China all the time, way bigger than that in the past, so I don't see why it was an issue. But we're going to put this clear pipe here. I've ordered some clear pipe from thepipeshop.com. I'll put a link in the description box if you're interested. For 1-inch pipe, for 2.5 meters, it's going to cost me 25 quid. That's quite a lot of money just for a piece of pipe, but it's going to be clear, so it's going to be quite useful. What you might be thinking, why do I want a clear piece of pipe here? Well, normally you get a clear hose tail here, right? The thing is, and that allows you to see the UV, because we've got a UV integrated into the Surge, which you don't get with the Tempest, and it allows you to see the actual UV working. Now, I didn't want to use a hose tail, I wanted solid pipe. So what I'm thinking is, if I attach this BSP threaded unit here, and we attach, I'll just show you the thread. That's the thread. It's a BSP thread that goes on there, and I'll get some elbows and some pipe, and we'll be able to see the water flow through it, and we'll be able to see how clear it is. This is only my first stage filter, by the way, guys. Obviously, I've shown you the box filter we're going to put on here, and that will be filtered as well. So we're going to have 2 filters just here, and then if we utilize that filter over there with a little bit of a trickle of a flow going through there, we will have 3 filters here. So that's the idea, guys. I'm still trying to figure out connecting the pump. Now, maybe some of you guys can advise me on that. Should I solid weld it into there, or should I put a piece of pipe on there and attach a rubber boot to this and have that attached like that? Obviously, I'm going to have to build some sort of little table for this to sit on, because it's a little bit above the ground. But let me know in the comments what you think I should do there. So moving on, the skimmer. The skimmer, I've always used this J-bow pump. Now, the problem with these J-bow pumps is they're not really designed to be on the outside. You can adapt them and use them on the outside. The problem I found with these things is they have a seal on there that leaks, and it's like a trickle. It's not a major deal, but if you want something that don't completely leak, I might have to replace this. The problem is these pumps are low wattage. The very flow pumps that we've got are quite heavy duty, and they do use a lot of power, these very flow pumps, unfortunately. A lot of people will disagree with that and say, no, they don't use lots of energy. You can dial them right down. You can only dial them down so much, to about 30%, as far as I know. That can be a problem if you're wanting to, keep your wattage down. So I suppose the ideal thing would be to have one pump running off both the filter and the skimmer. But I know a lot of people have separate pumps, so if you can let me in the comments know which pumps you use. Do you use 2 separate ones, or do you somehow figure out using one on both? Let me know. I'd be interested to know that from you guys. So let me show you what I've been doing out here. And this has been a big job, guys. So let me show you what I've been up to. So we have a skip, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what? I couldn't believe I got all that soil in there. As you can remember, there was a massive pile in front of the garage. So I've been shoveling it all into here, and it does compact on weight as well. I've noticed it as it time goes on, it sort of slowly goes down a little bit. That's because the soil is starting to compact. So if you do find yourself going a little bit over the top when you do put your soil in the skip, you can put some water over it, and over a couple of days it should go down a little bit. So just remember that if you do get a skip that's a little bit too small, um, it probably will go down a little bit when you put it in, because it's very loose. When you start pulling soil out of ground, it becomes loose and not compact. But let me show you what I've been doing in the space with my new construction project, and here it is. So Tom says, I found a new koi place today near Doncaster. Oh, absolutely amazing. Really, Tom? I might need to check that out, because I didn't know there was one in Doncaster. And I'm quite often in the Wakefield area. But as you can remember, you guys will probably remember, this was my filter on the pond that I'm doing the extension on. So I had to think about it. How could I reuse it? Rather than just throw it away or get rid of it, it's in essence just a planter box. I thought, you know what? Why don't I think about utilizing it here? So what I've done is got some slate underneath, because the ground goes up towards the garage at an angle. So in order to make this level, I had to put some stones underneath. And I've just been to B&Q and got myself a hold of a load of plants. Bloody expensive. You won't believe that those plants there cost me the best part of 40 quid. 40 quid, eh? Just for some plants. Anyway, I know it's a bit of a koi channel stroke goldfish channel, this YouTube channel that I've set up, and it's a bit different this, but I thought you might appreciate it. So let's have a look at the plants. So we've got various nice plants, and I thought it looked quite nice. So I've utilised some of the soil in there and got some new turf soil and some compost, mixed it together, put it all in, mixed it up, and there you go. So, you know, every time I drive up to here I can see these plants, and it should look quite nice in the summer anyway. Let me know what you think. So that's what I've been up to. Been hard graft. I tell you what, if you look at the previous live streams, you'll probably remember that that big area was nothing but soil, and it took me about 3 hours to shift it. I'll give you some advice when you're shifting soil. Bend with your knees, not with your back, because you don't want to hurt your back, guys. It can take you over a week to recover, sometimes longer. So bend with your knees. Just a helpful tip there. So hope you found that interesting. You know, this channel isn't always about fish and koi. It's about, you know, plants. Plants are key. If you ever want to ask me how to deal with algae, how to get rid of algae, use plants, please. You know, you can get these fancy filters, you can get these nexuses, you can get these tempests, you can get all sorts of these fancy new filters. Even the Cockney Koi bay filters that Martin, by the way, I've seen your video. You've got a Cockney Koi multi-bay. You got it for 60 quid, you lucky sod. They were 300 to 400 quid. Even though it was a bit leaky, I personally would have replaced a lot of the leaking parts, but congratulations, Martin. You got an absolute steal of a bag in there. Well done, because if it were me, I would have snapped it up as well. Your missus must be a nice lass into the koi industry, because she certainly was looking out for that for you. Something else I want to talk about, and it's a bit off subject, so let's just talk about it. So if any of you guys know, I did talk about the post office scandal that's going off in the UK. Those of you in the States that might be watching this, basically a lot of postmasters that were running little post offices pretty much got ripped off by the company they were working for, because they claimed they were stealing money when there wasn't. The system was knackered, wasn't fit for purpose, kept making errors, but the post office believed they was stealing the money and they weren't. Um, and some of them went to prison, some of them committed suicide. Now, as a bus driver, um, I watched the documentary, the ITV documentary, where a guy literally got out of his car and walked in front of a bus and got himself killed. You know, if it'd been me or driving that bus, I would have been horrified with that. I know someone that runs someone over, who used to work for Yorkshire Tiger before it got taken over by Arriva. That person couldn't work for a long time, and they actually lost their job. The police was going to prosecute because she killed a person, ran over them, but in the end, she was deemed not to be at fault, and she did get a job back. But can you imagine living through that? I can't, you know. And anyway, back to the subject matter that we're on about. So, Paula Venables, that's her name, has been on the stand at the Horizon inquest. And literally, she has been towing the line that every other executive has been saying in every single interview. I can't remember. I don't think it was me. I was getting advice from a colleague. Um, she blatantly has lied to MPs. That's blatantly obvious. And her crocodile tears, right, are BS. We all know she's full of shit. She needs to go to prison for what she's done. Um, some of what's been revealed in the latest videos, I highly recommend you go and watch it. There's a few news channels that have done like there's a few YouTube channels that have done um, news reports on it and cut it down so you guys can watch it. But when you start listening to what this woman that was in charge, you think, my God, what an absolute incompetent, stupid, selfish person you are. You let people go to prison, and not only that, you lied to MPs when you said, basically along the lines of that there were no people that have gone to prison that we were looking into in terms of they were that what I'm trying to say is there were people that were actually defending themselves and eventually got off and were innocent. And yet Paula Reynolds didn't tell the MPs this. Didn't tell the MPs that there was potentially an issue with the Horizon computer system. And to me, she's a liar. You know, all right, I'll put out there the word alleged just in case someone tries to sue me. But the thing is, she is responsible for people for going to prison. And when I watched that, I was so disgusted. And I hope the inquest concludes that all this evidence needs to go to the police and she needs to spend time in prison. It was disgusting, and it's one of those things. I know, I don't know how you can justify not realizing that there's an issue. And what I don't understand is surely there was some staff in the head office who saw what was going on and thinking, hang on a minute, this ain't right. I've got to say something. But they kept quiet. What, to keep your job? And you got morals. Don't you think those people going to prison need some help? Shout out, tell people what's going on. But no, you kept quiet. So you're equally responsible. And as far as I'm concerned, you should go to prison as well. Anyway, I thought I'd just talk about that briefly so you guys can realise the update, what I said previously. Um, Paula Reynolds is a piece of crap. She needs to go to prison. Simple as that. Anyway, back to the pond. So, sorry if I digressed a little bit then. It's just when I saw that video, I couldn't believe it. So, yeah, at the moment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some more sand in Um, I just want to level it off a bit more. I did get these clips actually, these 40mm clips, but unfortunately they don't fit pressure pipe, which is 48.3mm outside diameter. So there's a good 8mm difference. That's why these won't fit, and I actually sort of damaged them a little bit. Damaged this one here. As you can see, it's a bit damaged. So I can't use those. But yeah, then obviously the next stage as well is going to be using this pink grip, which is pretty good adhesive. If you want some grab adhesive, get some pink grip. It's fantastic stuff, and you get a large tube, and it's only about £6 some a tube. So I will be putting some extra foam sheets all the way around the pond, as it's pretty much a square. When I measured this, I couldn't believe it. It was 2.5 meters wide, precisely in both directions. And I've got a massive piece of liner, which is a 6 meter by 6 meter, to go in there, and hopefully that'll be big enough. Um, the previous pond liner that I had was 5 meters by 5 meters, and there was quite a bit of overlap as well with that one. But I'm hoping that the 6 meter by 6 meter should be big enough, because it doesn't go quite as deep in that area there. So we should have quite a bit of overlap in theory. But sometimes it can be complicated to figure out the the size of pond liner you need for a square pond, rather than a pond that's dug out in the ground. Remember, there's a competition running. If you can guess the litres that will go into this pond once it's constructed, we'll do a giveaway prize. So obviously put your guesses in the comments box after the video's gone live, and I've uploaded it, and you will be in a chance to win something. Don't know what yet, but we'll figure something out. But essentially that's what I'm up to. Thought I'd just show you the fish cave. I was thinking, mate, do you guys think I should sell these on eBay as a fish cave? Because it can be quite hard to find a fish cave pipes, because the pipes are quite expensive. But basically, it's just a planter plastic bucket with holes drilled in the top. I've cut a hole in there so that fish can go in and out, and that will protect the fish against herons, and keep them safe, hopefully. Obviously, if you've got massive fish, it would be too small for them. But for the smaller fish that the heron will be going after, that's ideal to protect them. So I'll be putting that in as well. I thought I'd just show you the small pond. Hello, Umber Koi. How are you doing? Yeah, just so you know, Humber, Tom, one of the YouTubers on here, has said he's found a new place in Doncaster. Might be worth checking out. This is a small pond, but getting a bit concerned because I've not seen my two goldfish for a long time. Now there is a fish cave there that they hide out in, but maybe it's just the weather. Maybe it's just not sunny and they don't want to come out. Maybe I also think they're being spooked by that heron, because they come out, they go shoo 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 shoo, and then they go back in. What's it called? Hey Tom, do you know the name of it? Humberco is asking about what it's called in Doncaster. I did see one advertised on Google Maps, but when I went to it, and it was in between Wakefield and Doncaster, it was closed. So maybe it's a slightly different one, or maybe it's a new one. Who's to say? So I don't know if I've ever shown you guys this dragon. So this is an LED powered solar dragon that I got from America. It took a couple of weeks to come, but it lights up when it's in the dark. Tom says SNC. Is that its full name, Tom? Um, has anyone seen Telford's new video where he went to a place? I think it was near Warrington or something like that, or or Preston, and it looked amazing. Where they packed in so much stuff, and there's so much choice, and there was a beautiful tank with a window. So it might be worth checking that out. But yeah, so Humber Koi, since you've just come on, I will reiterate what I've said previously. So this is the pipe work that we've been working on. So we've got a ball valve there, ball valve there. We get our mini ball valves on the surge, one there, and one there. And the idea is we'll have our pipe work coming up here on some sort of elbow. I'm still debating whether to solvent weld the pump into the ball valve or whether I put a rubber boot on there instead. That way I can easily disconnect it. I'm still playing on that idea. Not sure what to do there. But yeah, the idea is obviously we'll have water coming up into here, goes into the surge and out. And then I put clear piping that we're going to sort out. Bloody expensive clear pipe, I tell you that much. It's like 3 times the price of regular pipe. And that'll go into the box filter that we'll have here. And then here, I've done this with a curved boot on here, so I can attach that. As you can see, I've got a filter bowl over there, so we'll have another filter. This allows me to change the flow, because the problem with that is it was far too powerful, the pump that we've got here. And what I'm contemplating doing is changing out this pump for a more better one. DWP Koi says, "Hi Yorkshire Koi, do you know if koi carp fart or not? Because we have got one swimming around and it's always got bubbles behind it." I've never heard about that, mate. Is it possible you got a problem with your fish? Humber Koi said, "It ain't that for that from me, it's near Scunny. It ain't that for me. From me, it's near Scunny." Oh. Tom says, definitely, I can read the thing, definitely worth a visit. You know, I want to talk about these koi dealers. Let's talk about these koi shops. I've been to quite a few. Some of them are pretty crap. And the reason for that, I say that, is they have a limited amount of fittings. Now, you might not think, oh, fittings, you can get them anywhere, blah, blah, blah. But the thing with fittings, ordering them online, you don't know if you've got the right size. You've got imperial, metric, inside diameter, outside diameter. Not all metrics are the same. Not all fittings are the same. Some are a mil out, a couple of mil out sometimes. They may be within tolerance, but sometimes they don't quite fit. So I find it really useful to go to a good koi supplier shop who has a vast array of fittings. Take your pump, your pipe, or whatever, and see if it fits. And if it fits, buy it there. Then you know it works and it will fit, no problems. Unfortunately, there's a lot of koi shops. There's one actually in Huddersfield near B&Q, right, that has got the worst selection of fittings I've ever seen. Not only that, anyone been to the Maidenhead Aquatics places? Their fittings are appalling, ridiculous. How are you supposed to figure out how to fit pipe when you don't sell hardly any fittings? You're a koi supplier. You need to have these things, but you don't, which I find ridiculous. And for those of you that do run koi shops and you do have a vast array of fittings like Japanese koi in um, Nottingham. I think it's Nottingham. Um, that's great, fantastic. And if you do have a vast array of fittings, thank you, appreciate that. If you don't, maybe it's something you should change, because I know for a fact it pisses me off when I go to a koi supply shop and they've got hardly any fittings. I thought, how am I supposed to figure out what pipe fits what elbows I need, what T's do I need? Is it 32mm pipe? Is it 40mm pipe? Is it waste 43mm pipe? Is it pressure pipe? Is the outside diameter of that pressure pipe 48.3mm? Or is it smaller than that? All these things are really complicated sometimes, and it can be a minefield. I've bought tons of things on eBay and Amazon. It's turned up and it's been the bloody wrong size, and I've had to pay for it to go back out of my own pocket. So that's something you need to take into account, guys. So I believe we've got a few new people just come on. So I thought I would show you the planter box again. So as you can see, I've got rid of all that bloody soil, and it took me hours. We got the skip. 160 quid for this small skip. It's a 30 bag skip. Definitely worth a visit, someone says. I definitely take a visit. Cheers, Tom. You know what, Humber, I'll be having a look at that place at some point as well. Yeah, 160 quid for this skip from Tiger, Yorkshire. So if you need a skip and you're in Yorkshire, check out Tiger, because the prices are quite reasonable. There's a lot of places that are quite expensive as well. And I was looking at those, you know, those hippo bags you can get where you can put your soil in. They're more expensive than bloody skips, and they say, oh, it's economically viable, and you'll save money getting a hippo bag. Bollocks to that. A skip's cheaper. Anyway, so I've reused the old filter box, ladies and gentlemen. And I went to B&Q, and I'll tell you something, 50 quid for bloody plants. Anyway, that's what I've done. What I probably will do is get a piece of wood and put it on there and just make it more level. Because that's where the spillway was originally. So that's what we're doing there. Oh, don't know what you think. It's quite nice. Now I've had to elevate it a little bit, so it looks like it's at the wrong angle, doesn't it? And it's not, because the floor goes up like that towards the garage. It's like a bit of a ramp that goes up to the garage. So what I had to do is put some slate underneath to try and level it, and then we put the filter box on top. I reused some of the soil from the skip, and then I've got some topsoil, this is Verve stuff, and some more Verve compost, mixed it together, and hopefully those plants will do well. Don't know if you think that's nice or not, but it's not always about koi, you know, the pond industry. It's about plants as well. And if you want to deal with algae, get plants. You know, I can't overemphasize this. And Lee from Japanese Water Gardens in Nottingham will agree with me, where if you want to combat algae in your pond, and I think there's a lot of people been saying things about algae recently, get plants. There was a recent guy that did, what does WP Koi say? We have had herons visiting just lately, but luckily enough, I saw it early, and since I've put a big plastic gorilla on the side of the pond, I haven't seen it since. Thank God. Well, you're lucky, guy. Don't know your name, sorry. You're lucky, because I lost all my fish, didn't I? Now, unlike GKP, no one donated money to me to get new fish, and I'm not asking for any either. But that sort of pissed me off a little bit. this is a guy that was making fun out of the fact my fish got hacked um, on a few live streams ago that he did, where he just sort of went over the subject matter and didn't say, oh, "I'm really sorry, it's not a nice thing to happen." Didn't seem to give a shit, and that pissed me off. And I think it pissed a few of you off as well. Um, I've been checking out Twisted Koi, the Twisted one, Vince. He's been doing some live streams with Rick at his farm. Check those videos out because they're very interesting. Um, and Vince has always got a nice personality, and I suppose you can watch him all day long because he can be quite funny guy. And it'd be nice to get some live streams with some fellow YouTubers and do our own thing, I guess. One thing I will say, ladies and gentlemen, um, I've got a little present for a friend of mine. He's called Peter Bubbles and Koi, I think his YouTube channel is. He's been asking for a ball valve, and it's on a piece of waste pipe, and I thought I'd give him this as a little present because he's been down lately. So that's yours when I get round to coming round to your place at some point, or you can come over here and collect it. It's up to you. But that's a little thing I wanted to announce on the channel. As I've said previously, we're doing a giveaway regarding my new big pond that I'm getting close to getting completed. There's a few little jobs I need to do. The pipe work has been the main pain in the butt. And I'm waiting for some pieces to turn up from China, unfortunately. These clear pieces of pipe are very expensive, I'll tell you that much. Let me show you another piece I've got. These are connectors for 32mm pipe. These are bloody expensive. I think they're about £6 or £7 each, but these are small. 40mm, a lot more expensive. As always, we've got the small pond running indoors. My 3 goldfish are in there. See if they come to the surface. They want feeding again. But yeah. So obviously we've done the planter box. Hopefully it looks quite nice. So it's been a big day today. A lot of digging, moving. A little tip for you guys: as soon as you get a skip, fill it up as soon as possible, because you won't believe this. One day I had a skip delivered and someone dumped a child slide in it, and I thought, who's done that? That's a bit shit to do. And guess what? It was my own brother. you know So Martin Coyan Garden says the marigolds look nice, the plants, not the gloves. LOL. Yeah, it's got a bit of cement on the gloves. I think you've extended your pond will be 5,150 litres. The planter box looks good. Hey Martin. Sorry, that was Jamie's Coyan Pond that just said that. Hey Martin, you know that Cockney Koi multi-bay you got? Would you take 50 quid for it? You're lucky son. Imagine picking up a Cockney Koi multi-bay for £60. You lucky git. I was looking at getting one a couple of months back, and I was looking at a price around 300 quid. And I couldn't find a decent one in Nick, because all the ones I found on Facebook were in terrible condition. All the filter media was full of muck and crap. And I thought, if you're going to sell something or put it up for sale, right, why would you sell it with crap in it? You clean it out, won't you, for the new buyer? You won't. You won't. It's like when some people say you can come and buy my pond off me, but you have to disassemble it. But hang on a minute, you want to sell it, so don't you think you should disassemble your pond for your customer who can just come and collect it and go? Why does he have to spend the best part of half a day digging something out his own time for free, and you get a bit of money for it? And I think that's quite lazy. I think if you're going to sell something, you have to sell it in good condition, in good nick. For example, if I decided to get rid of my pond and sell it, I would have to probably disassemble all the wood parts and put them in a pile for people to come and collect and buy. But I wouldn't expect them to you know come and disassemble it themselves and spend all day in my garden doing so. I think that's ridiculous. So just a little thing I wanted to say, because I think if you're going to sell something, sell it in good nick. Um, so there's not really that much to be done with the pond apart from get some decent water, because I get the feeling it's going to rain tonight, unfortunately. Um, so I'm going to put a bit more sand in the pond, because that water that was in there has dissipated because of all the gravel that's underneath that. There's a few large pockets of gravel that I put about 2 feet below that, so any sort of groundwater will get soaked up. So essentially, that's what I've been up to. Um, so we just need to put a bit more sand in there, get it more level, and then hopefully we can get the liner in. The liner is the thing I've been putting off because it's a massive piece of liner. Absolutely weighs a ton. Anyway, I think some of you guys are going to be starting to get bored of me just prattling along, talking about nonsense. One thing I'll just show you is the plant pond that I got off eBay. Cost me about 100 quid. I put all the plants in there. So if you want to use plants in a pond, let's just talk about that. Obviously, if you put your plants in your pond, your koi are going to eat your plants. That's the problem. So what can you do? Well, you can build a box and put your plants in the box, and then have your pipework runs through the box and then through the box into your pond. Or you can get baskets that go along the side, or you can have floating plants on the top of the pond. All those measures will stop the koi eating them, and it will help filter your pond. And the more plants you have in your pond, the less chance of algae growing. Basically, what you're trying to do is outcompete the algae for nutrients, and to do that, you use plants. And I've got lots of plants we're going to utilize. Got some plants there. Irises are a good plant to use as well. Fantastic irises are. They don't die off as well. They come back every year. And obviously, I've got the floating basket here. Just show you the floating basket. It's not doing too good because it's not actually in the pond. But that's the floating basket. I got that from Maidenhead Aquatics for about 20 quid. So basically, it's a piece of polystyrene that floats the basket. And then obviously we got the ball filter with lots of plants in there, and they're doing quite well as well now. Starting to become established now. I've moved them. Plants sometimes, when you move them, and if you're not careful, they do die off. So get them in as soon as possible to prevent them dying, or put them in a temporary pool, a temporary box, a temporary hole, or whatever, like I've done over here in that plastic box. Some of that media in there is still covered in some of the fish waste from the fish before they died. So that keeps them alive. So I thought I'd just show you what I've been up to recently. So I'll call it a day. I want to say a big thank you for coming on and leaving a few comments. And I'll see you in the next video, and take care of yourself. And remember to like the video if you do like the content, and watch it back later on if you've not seen all of it. If you've not got bored of me prattling on, that is. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day. Bye bye.